I had a friend of mine, a female friend. She's a really beautiful girl. Got a college degree, but she was dancing at the Yellow Rose. I'm sure you're aware that's there
Yep.
in Austin. And she starts working at a bar with the biggest male whore I'd ever met in my life. This dude had fucked more girls than anyone. He used to brag about it after work. I worked with him previously. She starts working with him, and she comes to me, and she's just laughing. She's like, "Oh my God," talking these stories about him fucking girls in the bathroom and all this kind of stuff. And then 6 months later, Adam, I'm sure you know how this ends. She marries him.
Yeah.
And one of the points I wanted to make was that there's a whole idea that there's a lot of dudes out there that are like, no, there's a certain type of attraction for the good girls, and I want that type of attraction, and not the type of attraction that you and Adam are doing for the bad girls. And my whole thing is, no, you got to stop watching that movie Hitch. It's just one type of attraction, and it works for pretty much everyone. So I just wanted to point out once again, it's like even though you had your past, I'm sure Amanda probably didn't care, or if she did, she probably found it attractive. Has that been something you've noticed?
Yeah. I mean, no, that's absolutely, like, pre-selection is real. Like, they've done so many studies on this that have, like, shown in. I mean, I duplicated the study on a YouTube video back in the day when I was, like, heavily into YouTube. We went around San Marcos with a picture of a guy and a picture of a guy with two women. It was just photoshopped with two women looking at the guy, and women rated him 2 points higher. They've done this study so many times. You can literally do it. Show a picture of you and then another picture where you've photoshopped in a woman looking at you, and you'll be scored higher. People will be like, you're more attractive because pre-selection's real. So if you have a whole bunch of women and a past and a history, women will absolutely find you more attractive. And there's something amazing about knowing that you're with a guy that can get you off. A lot of guys are shit in bed because they just haven't had enough sex, or haven't enough sex with enough different women to understand that different vaginas are shaped differently, that they need different kinds of attention. And if a guy doesn't have that kind of experience, the girl's looking at a pretty shitty sex life.
You were talking about that before, so pre-selection and then experience is what you're referring to now. And there was a third thing. I forgot what it was.
We talk about that's actually the ACE formula. So it's pre-selection, which is abundance A, and then confidence is the second one. The last one is escalation, the ability to turn somebody on. So three key components.
So you and Amanda, you guys split up, and then at this point now we move forward. Is it a conscious decision to get into a throuple? Because for me, what I found is that it's usually a woman I'm seeing, and she's attracted to another woman, and I'm just kind of the butler. I'm like, oh yeah, cool. I'm like, what I'm saying? I'm the guy who gets the Taco Bell.
So I always tell people, like, that's the best way to have a threesome. Is to, like, make it about the two women. Don't make it about you. And I'd had a lot of threesomes. What happened was when we separated, Amanda said to me, she's like, the worst thing about breaking up with you is every other guy I've been with, she goes, I know they're never going to get as good at me. So I get to say, you'll never meet anyone as good as me. She goes, I can't say that with you because you're going to do better. And I was like, I appreciate you saying that, but it's true. I will. And I had a friend who was a lesbian at the time, and she was, like, only into women. And she basically professed her love to me once me and Amanda separated. And she said, but I'm not going to give up women for you. And I look at her and go, I'm not going to give up women for you either. And she goes, oh, that's a good one. And so we agreed that we would go and meet women, and we would go out and we would make out and have sex, and we would also meet other women. And sometimes, I would have a woman and she would have a woman. And then sometimes we'd bring women home together and sleep with them together. And that was kind of how it was. And our relationship developed. And one night we were out. I was actually teaching a student a game, and he failed on a girl like 4 times, but she was so hot. She was a photographer from Hollywood at Austin Fashion Week, which, believe it or not, Austin has. I know you know, but most people don't. And after he'd failed, he said, yeah, you can never get a girl like that. Like, she was just in a bad mood. I was like, anyone can get anyone if you know what you're doing. And he goes, you're telling me you can go and talk to her now after she's in that kind of foul mood and I failed 4 times? I was like, yeah, watch me. And so I went straight up to her, got talking to her, and then me and Brooke, we bounced her. Brooke was the other woman I was seeing, and we went out. We spent the whole night together. We went back to bed. We took her to a strip club. We met a waitress in the strip club. This is the craziest story. Brooke and her were making out, and the waitress comes up to me. She's like, are you jealous? I was like, why would I be jealous? I'm going to get both of them later. She goes, well, I'm jealous. I was like, don't be, join in. And she did. So our first night together was me, the waitress from Palazzo. There we go.
Okay, so I was the DJ at Palazzo for 2.5 years.
Oh, that's okay. That's too funny. So, which years?
So this would have been. So I was the DJ at Expose from 2000 until 2004. No, 2003. And then I was at Palazzo during that time also because it opened after the second year I was at Expos.
Okay, so this is
way before that.
Later.
And then
I was like, oh, you might know.
I was the manager. I was the manager at Crazy Lady, and then I was, which is called Zero now, I think. And then I was the DJ at Sugars until February of 04, and then I joined the military. I swore into the military in February of 04. Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, so this is much later than that. But so long story short, the four of us had sex, but the girl who I'm now about to get married to, I'm engaged to, Eve, went back to LA where she lived in Hollywood. And we just had a long distance relationship that lasted a few years. Meanwhile, me and Brooke, we slept with other people. And then we ended up moving to LA. So when we moved to LA, we didn't have anywhere to crash. Eve said, you can crash with me for a couple of weeks. We crashed with her. The relationship deepened. And then me and Brooke had a kid. Brooke already had a kid from a previous relationship that I'd mostly adopted because I kind of came into his life when he was 18 months old. And I wanted to be a dad, obviously, which was the reason I left Amanda. And me and Brooke had always decided like we could co-parent, even if the relationship didn't work out. That was like a factor because she, primarily preferred women. And then, we ended up seeing Eve probably 3-4 nights a week. And then Eve says to us one day, hey, I want to get a bigger place. I'm thinking about moving by the beach. And mine and Brooke's rent was up at the same time. And we said, well, business is booming. We're thinking the same thing. Why don't we move in together? So we moved in together. Brooke gave birth to Dante, which was my second child, I suppose. And then Eve, after seeing Dante during the pregnancy, she was like, I don't know if I want to be with you guys. So that was kind of awkward. But then when Dante was born, she was like, no, I do want to be with you. And the factor was the kid. She didn't know if she was ready to be a mom.
Yeah, for sure.
For the record. And but once Dante was born, she fell in love. And the reason everyone knew about us, so we'd been together like 2.5 years at this point. And that's when Eve decided she wanted to have a kid.